Okay, let's see if I can do it in one take.
Okay.
Hello, folks, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where 10 points can get you Isamu, but you better have more than 10 Bitcoin to get those juicy Gorilla Trooper minis. Hi, I'm Big Bullfrog, and today I'm joined by a very special guest host. This is Tiamat.
Hey, everybody. How's it
How
going?
are you doing today, Tiamat?
Yeah, doing great. Big. It's great to be on with you. Big fan of your previous episodes. So this is it's cool to be here with you.
Hey, thanks. It's good to. I'm glad to hear that. That's always happy to hear. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, just so that people know who they're listening to?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, on Heroscapers, I'm Tiamat, and I'm a proud member of the Midwest Heroscape scene. I've been playing Heroscape for a couple of years now with that crew, and we've got a great, lively bunch going. We had our last tournament in Ann Arbor, Michigan, was over 30 people. Can't quite live up to those Utah monthlies, but we did draw on people from I think 5 different states in Canada, and
Nice.
just had a blast, playing with everybody. And I really enjoy playing the game with the crew there, and excited to have more content of Heroscape on YouTube here.
Yeah, me as well. It sounds like you guys do have a really good group over there in the Midwest. I know I've kind of lightly tracked that thread. Looks like a really good group. I always like to see those spring up.
Yeah, we play pretty much weekly, and then we've had a bunch of our guys went to Gen Con and did that scene last year. I didn't get to do that, but really hoping to do that someday. Would be really cool to check that out as well.
Make the journey to the Gen Con Heroscape experience.
Yeah, and it's in the Midwest, so not too bad a little easier for us to get to than others. So I know it's kind of a trek
That's
for you
true.
guys, but got to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's logged on just about everybody's list. So that'll be cool. I hope you're able to make it. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into the match that we've got right here. So today we've got a pretty cool matchup going on for us. It's also a pretty iconic matchup in that I think it's the matchup we've seen the most between Sir Heroscape and Chris Perkins. I think this is, I should probably know this a little bit better because it's my channel. I want to say it's like the 4th or 5th time that we've seen Sir Heroscape and Chris Perkins match up. So this will be a fun rematch. I do believe Chris is ahead in the games between himself and Sir Heroscape, at least as far as the channel goes. So we'll see if Sir Heroscape can take his revenge. Army-wise, this is also another matchup that we've seen before. Earlier between Sir Heroscape and Dysel, where Quahon, if you've seen that one, you'll remember Quahon had some pretty unfortunate luck in the beginning. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out because 1.6% of you will not believe what happened in that video. But as far as this one goes, we've got Sir Heroscape on the left. He's piloting the Gorilla Troopers along with Zeus. He's got, 4 squads of Gorilla Troopers and Zeus. Over on the right, we've got Chris Perkins piloting 4 squads of Marden Hounds and Quahon. And this is back from the Bring 2 tournament, the same Bring 2 tournament that the Sir Heroscape Dysel one was from, obviously. But this was from back in the fall. It's been sitting in my video banks for a good little while now, and so it's good to get it to see the light.
And so was this we did a Bring 2 format? Was this a dice off, and then you get to choose one of the 4 armies if you win the dice off? How did they work this one?
Yeah, that's exactly how it worked. There was a dice off, and just how exactly you said it. Both players bring 2 armies. There's a dice off. Winner gets to either choose first or defer their first choice. The reason why we keep seeing this matchup between Sir Heroscape and his opponents is because most of the time his 2 armies were the strongest ones that were brought. So,
and that's interesting. So I thought when we were designing our armies for this tournament that everyone would bring kind of mid-level armies and, hoping to not bring something too strong, which you'd think would be the way to go. But it seemed like the people that did well just brought 2 really strong armies and got really good at playing them.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to be able to do it. I think when it comes to Bring 2, it's good to know the stronger armies, just because if that's in the pool, being able to play any of those strong armies helps a lot. Coming up with fun, like other mid-level armies, that's usually what I like to do. But being good at those doesn't necessarily help a ton if you're just outmatched army-wise. So that's the fun of Bring 2 too, I think.
A little more creative. Yeah, you can stay away from just bringing A+ armies and still be competitive, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. definitely changes it up a lot. So that's actually a really good one if you've got, if you've got a lot of newer players who want to just play a variety of armies. Bring two is a really good format to set up for them.
Yeah, it seems like it worked well. We had some new players at that tournament too, and they seemed to really enjoy it. So
nice, yeah. We always do a bring two in Utah as well, at least once a year, and it's a crowd favorite. Definitely a good one to go with.
We'll go back to that one too, I'm sure.
So let's go ahead. We'll jump into the game itself. Ready, set, go. We'll have them rolling for initiative here, and looks like Sir Heroscape has taken it. So the interesting or nice or it's like a talking point for these two armies is that they are pretty easy on the order marker management, but also there's a lot of counterplay going on. Gorilla Troopers are really, really tough in that well, they have tough, which gives them automatic shields against normal attacks. But Chris Perkins here has a special attacker with Quahon, and the Hounds just ignore defense with their plague. So it'll be an interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah, it's the Hounds and Quahon is an interesting combo for me. Just looking at it, it seems like I don't think of the Hounds as a screen, but I guess maybe they are here. You're just going to run your Hounds out and try to lock people down, get some plagues, and then fly Quahon in and start lightning chaining everybody to death, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. Looking at Chris Perkins's order markers, it does look like he's actually going to go for an all-in Quahon. He's got 3 order markers on Quahon and 1 on the Hound, so I'm guessing he's probably just going to go straight for a Quahon rush of sorts.
Just try to get them while they're clumped together, get a dragon perch somewhere and start chaining them.
Yeah, honestly, usually rushing a start zone with a dragon is not that's a good way to lose a dragon really fast. But against Gorilla Troopers, which are so expensive, let's see, 2-man squad, 105 points per squad. So that's about 50 points per figure. So when you're killing 50 points per figure and you've got a special attacker who's their nightmare, it might not be a bad idea to go a little bit more aggressive than usual, I think.
Just go all in, yeah, because the Gorilla Troopers, so their tough special ability is only against normal attacks then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Quahon with her lightning breath will be ignoring that shield, and so the troopers will just be rolling their normal 3 defense.
I worry about rushing Quahon in against anything with range, though, right? I mean, because like you said, that's a great way to lose a dragon is to a couple of bad defense rolls. And I remember Sir Heroscape in one of his online games with the spiders and Quahon. I forget what he was up against, but it was something ranged, and Quahon went down in the first round, and it was just game over.
Right. Yeah. I've seen that happen a lot with Quahon, especially too, because she's only got 3 defense herself.
Yep.
So, but that is so tempting. I think I agree with you though, in that it's better to keep Quahon safe, better to just kind of poke at the edges with Quahon, because Gorilla Troopers do have a lot of firepower, and it only takes 1 bad attack from Quahon to just be hosed.
Yep. And the Hounds are really, with their high defense, if they get in and lock things down, they're 2 base, so they can seal off a lot of areas. They're not a perfect screen, but they're screenish.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to always worry about rolling that 1 on your for your move with the Hounds, which is
right.
always in the back of my mind. I know when I'm playing them.
Yeah, I've got a pretty bad track record with the Hounds, to be honest. Just because I've had multiple games where I just roll that 1 at the wrong time, and I don't love. Usually they have 8 move, which is awesome. 8 move Hounds is great, but those couple times that you roll bad and you've just got bad movement just because of a die roll, not my favorite thing personally.
Yeah, and always does seem to happen at the wrong time, right?
Yeah.
Never fails to roll that 1 right when you need to move 8.
So you've got an interesting positioning game going on right now. You see a lot of Sir Heroscape putting forward a figure and then thinking about it again, which is good that he's thinking about it that much, because Quahon is very, very dangerous to the Gorilla Troopers.
Yeah, and it's annoying to go against Quahon because you got to do a little bit of calculations with how many figures can she hit with the targeted figure, then 3 spaces, then 2 spaces. You got to try to block off that chaining somehow,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
requires
so,
very careful placement.
right, and a lot of thinking ahead. It's a mind game, which is I mean I think it's pretty fun. It's like a little mini game with your game of Heroscape, but looks like Sir Heroscape did a pretty good job. The one Gorilla Trooper that's a little bit more vulnerable is far enough away from the other figures that Quahon won't be getting off any chain lightnings.
I think it's almost he's kind of baiting him a little bit there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Saying, here, take this one, and then maybe move up the others to height and get some attacks in on Quahon.
hmm
Can we talk about pronunciation, Big O? We need to have some official board of agreed pronunciations for all these figures, because it's the Wild West out there, and we need unity in the community.
That's
I want to
very
know.
true.
Tell me how to pronounce these names. I just, I'm happy to do it. Just tell me. Somebody needs to tell me how.
I'm probably not the best one for that because I feel like I get very comfortable with my Heroscape pronunciation, only to find out that everybody says it differently than what I say. So like I say Quahon, I know some people say Quahon or Quahon or I don't know. Um, or like Zeus, I say Zeus. Although actually I think Zeus should be Zeus, maybe.
Looking at the spelling, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Zeus. You could just call him Zeus.
Right, right.
I think the biggest one is the big green dragon.
Yes, right, right. That is a lot of debate there. Yep. I don't know. There should, and that's like a classic scape. There should be some sort
Oh
of like,
yeah.
can't we ask Craig Van Ness, like, what the heck? How do we pronounce this one?
Oh, we should. That'd be great. I'd love to be able to meet up with him and just say, "Okay, how do you say this? Is it Keros or is it Cheros or is it Churros?" Because I swear some people just say churros.
All right, looks like Quahon moved in.
Yeah, going in for the one attack and got the kill. And that's a pretty good position there. A little more reserved, but so Chris will be able to get some attacks on her, or sorry, Sir Heroscape will be able to get attacks on her, but she'll have high ground. He won't be able to get the double attack with autocannon.
Yeah, I think that's a great little perch there. And it's, like you said, he's all in with the order markers, so he won't be leaving her on the lava field at the end of the round. No worries there.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really the good thing about being able to go all in on a dragon is just having that control. And you're not too worried about your other figures because they're clear back in your start zone. And if they go for your start zone, then you go for theirs, and you just punish them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough. These Gorilla Troopers, like as we talked before, I don't really know the card that well, but there's a lot of trade-offs there. With just a two-man squad, they're very expensive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then they have the 5 base attack, so it tempts you to move in close, but yet they've got the awesome range double attack. So here we go with an attack from Sir Heroscape.
Yeah, not bad attacks, but better defense from Chris. So he's not going to take any wounds right there.
Yeah, that's a great start.
And then let's see. Now Chris gets his turn, and this is the last turn before the end of the round. It'll be interesting to see because he could go north a little bit and go for that Gorilla Trooper and Zeus and try to get both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Not sure how beneficial that is. I think the other question too is, does he go for lower ground and risk getting hit from height, or does he just stay back in that little corner where he can stay on the high ground and also off of lava? Or maybe he just chances and just stays on lava. I don't know.
Yeah, I think going to lower ground there is tempting, but I think it's too risky for me. With Quahon's defense, low defense, I think you've got to prioritize staying on height. And staying in that little southern corner of the board there, it almost feels like it's just a little less exposed, and if you lose initiative, right, you're not going to get the double attacks from height. So that's where I would lean, but it's a toss up.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Because I guess the other thing though with that little nugget in the south is, okay, so say the nightmare situation is you move down there with Quahon and then you attack the Gorilla Trooper and you don't kill it. And then the next round, Sir Heroscape wins initiative and is able to move up with that Gorilla Trooper and attack adjacent for 5 dice.
Yep.
So that's like the nightmare situation. That's a lot of variables, but I know that like these people like Chris Perkins, like when you're thinking about people like Chris Perkins, Sir Heroscape Doc, Kevin Dola, those guys are all thinking about like those worst case scenarios, especially when they feel like they've got the lead. And I think Chris Perkins right now thinks he's got the lead, and he doesn't want to throw that by tanking sorry, let's get my mouth working. Tanking a melee attack from a gorilla trooper. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to open the door at this point because it definitely has started out well for Chris Perkins. So I think you're right. He's probably, I would imagine he's thinking conservative here.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's not.
Okay. All right, so that does let him get 2 hits or 2 attacks in. Maybe put some. Oh, well, 3 skulls.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And that was the tempting thing about going there, right?
Yeah. So he kills the gorilla trooper. Put some wounds on.
That's big.
Yeah, 1 wound on Zeus.
Wow.
So that's really good. There is the lava roll. Where Quahon has 7 defense, I'd rather be rolling for lava than against. Or sorry, 7 life. I'd rather be rolling for lava than against like 5 attack gorilla troopers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's a general trend in the game is people are reluctant to do disengagements or stay on lava field when it's really just 50-50 at 1 hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think people avoid it a little bit more than they need to, considering the odds there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's actually kind of become a in my gaming circle, or well, my Heroscape gaming circle, I've kind of become known for loving to disengage because it's only 50% chance that I take a wound, and if I do, it's only 1 wound. So you ain't never gonna tear me down. That changes. Like if I'm playing gorilla troopers, you don't want to retreat a gorilla trooper and lose 50 points in one go. But
right, yeah, of course, it's got to be the right figure to do it with. And looks like Sir Heroscape's not having great luck. Oh, there's 3 skulls. Okay, so boy.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
that's big.
Oh, okay, hang on.
So
it's only counting the first one because he accidentally clicked twice. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they're just going with the first roll. Oh, no, wait. Never mind. Okay, he attacked twice because he's using the double attack. So he blinked. So Chris blinked the first one against the 1 skull. And then he needs to roll a second time for the 3 skulls. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Gorilla Troopers. They're an intense card.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on there.
I don't remember if I've said it yet for this recording, but there are always cards in the description below. If you don't know what's going on with these cards, make sure you check it out. That'll help you know what's going on a lot. But yeah, so Quahon does take 2 wounds total from those attacks.
So not terrible.
Yeah. I'd say she's still in a pretty good spot. Always pretty fragile with the 3 defense, and so that's why you want to be pretty careful with her.
Yeah, that's what the thought is whenever I'm playing her. And then also with the chain lightning attacks, if you're rolling hot with those, she can seem unbeatable. And if you roll cold with them, feels like she's way overcosted. It seems like
right.
I mean, everyone's swingy in Heroscape, but Quahon's definitely up there as far as a non-D20 figure. She just feels a little swingy.
Oh yeah. Usually she's like, melting stuff like crazy, but like you said, it only takes 1 bad roll to be like, oh, why is she 190 points? Got 1 bad roll, my opponent gets to attack back, and she falls really quickly.
Yeah, because you got to get pretty close to get off those chained attacks. So then if you whiff on it, then they're usually up in your grill in a hurry.
Yeah, and like the first figure that she targets has to be 4 spaces away, right?
Yeah.
I'm remembering that correctly, right? Yeah, so like 4 spaces, that's pretty close to have to get. You got like Nilfheim has 5 range on his attack, and it's really pretty nice to have that extra 1 space between 4 and 5. I feel like
makes a big difference, yeah. And that's why I feel like when I look at Quahon, I think about a screen, and that's why I saw those Hounds and I thought, oh, they could be a screen. I want to keep something in between my dragon, at least Quahon in particular, and some tough 5 attack melee figures. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Chris is a way better player than I am, so I definitely I'm not questioning his strategy at all. Just have that be known. Just talking it through.
How dare you question the Perkins?
Right, I take it back.
No, that's what I like about Heroscape is that it does accommodate a lot of different play styles and a lot of different ideas. And so you could probably play the army, pretty effectively still with, going Hounds first and then Quahon, or Quahon first and then Hounds. Either way, you can kind of figure, oh wow, another 3 skulls. Holy cow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't really want to be in Sir Heroscape shoes right there.
And was that on Zayas?
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
they're both.
on.
Yeah, it's going to be a chained attack. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
And so speaking of play styles, I think Sir Heroscape is well known in your community as an aggressive player,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Honestly, I think he probably generally would prefer to play the Hound army with Quahon over the Gorilla Troopers.
yeah, yeah. He likes to rush in, and yeah, if you get that big move with the Hounds, you can get across the board quick, which is fun. Like you said, people have different play styles, and we have people in our community that I think I would describe as aggressive versus slow rollers, which is it's fun to see the different styles go up against each other.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably one of like my favorite things is, especially like that's my favorite thing about playing new people that I haven't played before is going against them, seeing their army and being like, okay, so they've got this army, so they're gonna, this is gonna be their play style. This is how they want to win. This is how I play against them. Blah 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 blah. And then they just whip out something completely going against what I thought that they would do, and then I get caught off guard, and then I lose, and I'm a terrible player. I quit the game, sell all my stuff.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time, right? I've been in your shoes. I totally agree. Yep. Yeah, so at least Sir Heroscape got the 2 shields for Zayas there, so that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that is true. And it looks like he's trying to figure out how to attack Quahon now. He does have one gorilla trooper that he moved up onto that lava to make a shot down, but right now he's in the position of being behind on figures, going against a special attacker, and not having a good route to like get in another good attack. Because if he takes even ground to her, he's not able to get within range of her. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can't quite get within range of her with like those back 3 gorilla troopers. The forward one can, but then that's just setting up another chain lightning.
Right, and so yeah, you're kind of playing into the strengths there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what Chris was thinking a little bit by going to the middle of the board where there's that little pond there, and he can kind of dance around and watch the gorilla troopers flail as they try to get around it to him.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. That pond is really probably pretty key to his strategy because it keeps figures away from him, keeps Sir Heroscape from having a good angle to approach him. I do think attack
Yeah.
bonding was a good choice there because then he's not worried about getting his other figures in position to make attacks.
Yep.
But I don't know. Maybe, so I'm just looking at this. Maybe Sir Heroscape tries to advance by, say, he takes that southernmost gorilla trooper and runs it towards Chris's start zone to kind of like flank Quahon a little bit, then like throws one up to the north. Even then, it's still pretty tough to catch her, but I don't know. How do you think you'd approach this?
I think you've got to try something like that, and you can't just stand across that pond there and try to go and fight the ranged attacks back and forth. I think you got to try some type of flanking maneuver, which is tough with only a 2-man squad, right? Sending one around one end and one the other. It's just tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh, is he just gonna call it there? Interesting.
Okay.
So he's gonna. I think he's trying to bait Quahon into coming closer so that he can have a better angle on her. Yeah, Quahon can be really tough to fight because of that chain lightning.
Yeah, and I wonder. I mean, there's those gorilla troopers in the start zone are kind of a little bit dead. I mean, I don't know if you could take the time to bring them up now. It's almost like you need to have more of them advanced further on the board here.
Right, yeah.
Not that you can go back in time, but
yeah, that's one of those moments where hindsight is 2020 and you're like, I need more guys in more places against this dragon.
Yep. And I wonder, do you know where the gorilla troopers rankings are as far as strength?
I want to say they're like if I had to guess, I'd say like a B plus.
Yeah, okay, so they're in that range. Competitive, but yeah.
Yeah, competitive, but just like a huge weakness to special attacks and really expensive per figure.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it looks like Chris is just going to go safe. I was wondering if he'd go in for a melee attack on Zeus, which I don't think would have been the right choice. Looks like he's playing it safe and just going to shoot him with a little bit more lightning.
Yep. Because Zeus, his base attack is what? Do you know?
see, base 4 attack.
Just
And
a
then
base for it.
yeah, 4 attack special as well.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough to do, but if there had been any way to get Quahon engaged with the gorilla troopers here with those 2 attacks of 5, she could fall quickly.
Yeah, it's true. It's like it really the game kind of balances on the edge of a knife with this matchup in that like the gorilla troopers definitely have the potential to take out Quahon in just a few hits.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And if the hounds aren't rolling the plague very well, then the gorilla troopers are able to just outstat them, get more attacks, or get higher dice attacks against them. But with like how Quahon's been rolling so many skulls against the troopers, it kind of like swings things the other way, especially because like she ignores their tough. They fall like paper, and they're really expensive per figure.
Yeah, it hurts each one of those that you lose with the 2-man squad at that point total or cost it hurts each time one of those falls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like Sir Heroscape's going to opt for a strategy of trying to shoot Quahon with Zeus until either she's gone or Zeus is gone.
Yeah, which at this point I don't think that's a bad strategy.
Right, yeah, just kind of go man to man against her.
And yeah,
or gorilla to dragon.
The old gorilla to dragon head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, I also gotta wonder if Chris is tempted at all to swing in with Quahon, because right now, if he moved in a little bit further, he could hit 3 of the troopers with the special attack. Again, that's like kind of aggressive, kind of risky.
Yeah,
but also just always tempting when you're like, I could hit 3 figures with my.
It's going for the jugular, right? I mean,
yeah.
And yeah, if she flies down to low ground there, she's gonna probably survive long enough to get off at least a couple of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way this has been going.
If you take out 2 more troopers, I mean, it's gonna be tough to recover from. Yeah, and maybe this is what she's doing.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it.
Yep.
So you got 3 troopers right there, and 1 skull.
Oh, jeez.
Of course.
And of course, Hero Shields.
2 of them still go down. Holy cow.
That was nuts.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
so that's 2 of them gone.
that's brutal.
So that's 3 troopers, a 2 life Zeus against 5 life Quahon, and a bunch of hounds. So it does look like Sir Heroscape is calling the game right there, and I'll then since this is a recorded game and one that I looked back on a little bit, I can say he does give up the game right here, but they do continue the game in a little bit. So I'll go ahead and skip forward here in a little bit, just to explain what's going on. Sir Heroscape does call the game right here, just as far as like the tournament goes. He gives Chris the win instead of trying to play it out against all of those hounds, basically recognizing that he won't be able to overcome all those dogs. But after they talk about it for a little bit, they do decide to play on. So Chris has the win as far as the tournament is concerned. They just decide to play on because Sir Heroscape decides he wants to kill a dragon. Is pretty much how it goes.
Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah. So they will continue on. I'll go ahead and start moving forward. The other thing going on here is that while games are playing, I usually step out of the room so that, I don't get too many spoilers. It just so happened that for this one, when I came back to the room, I realized my screensaver was going. So I do also miss the first little bit of the fight against Quahon, but we'll be able to get back in there. I think I got back in and woke up my computer. It's right after they'd started and right.
Wow.
All right, so welcome back. There is a little bit, you will notice that the board has changed a little bit during the footage that I lost during my computer blackout. But basically all that happened is Sir Heroscape was able to kill Quahon. He didn't lose any more figures during that attack on her. And so now Chris is going into Hounds. That's basically what's going on. Like I said, as far as the tournament is concerned, Chris does have the win, but Sir Heroscape just wanted to see how far his guerrilla troopers could go. And it does make for a pretty fun little end game right here, so that's why I'm including it. So we'll go ahead and get it back started up. We've got Sir Heroscape has got his troopers in a little bit of a better position now, and Chris has been developing Hounds and rolls a 3 on the D20. Which is exactly what we were talking about earlier, where right when you're ready to charge in, the Hounds are like, but what about no?
They're just neutered at that point. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bad feeling.
yeah, just like frozen in fear, like, but I don't want to go against gorillas with guns.
You didn't tell me there'd be gorillas with guns.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we must have, I think what happened during the blackout illustrates, Quahon can really fall quickly. If I'm sure Zaus from height probably got off some good shots once she moved to the low ground, and it can change on a dime there.
Yeah, that was because I did go back after the fact and just like looked through the chat menu log just to see how things had gone through, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. The guerrilla troopers started attacking Quahon. I think Sir Heroscape won initiative.
Oh yeah,
Got off a couple attacks. Didn't quite kill Quahon in the first go, but then Quahon rolled a really bad attack after that. Which, again, like we were saying, she's got one attack per turn effectively, even though she can affect multiple figures. It's just the one attack, and if that's a bad roll, like it was, Sir Heroscape didn't lose any more figures and was able to get off melee attacks, kill Quahon. I think he stole a couple order markers. It was quite the turnaround. It was exactly what Sir Heroscape was looking for. Still does, like we were saying, still does have at this point 3 squads and 1 of the Hounds to get through. But
yeah,
also, though, he's got a pretty good defensive position as far as the map goes. He's got the water blocking off a lot of avenues in,
yeah.
but the Hounds are coming in. Rolled a 7. I think that's like exactly the threshold to get
Just
8 move.
to
Yeah.
get the 8. Yeah, yeah.
And now we get to see how hot the plague rolls are.
Yeah, talk about swingy. I mean, whenever you got these D20 figures,
Mm-hmm.
and with a high cost 2-man squad, a couple hot plague rolls, and that'll swing it right back in Chris Perkins' favor. Oh,
Yep,
there
like
and
right
there
there.
you go.
There's
Speak of
one
the
gone
devil.
already.
Yeah, wow.
There's 2 gone already. Holy cow.
Jeez, that's big. Jeez.
That's dumb.
I watched the epic Soul Devourer of Sir Heroscape at your Utah Monthly on his Silver Surfer with
Oh
a
yeah.
shade. That was one of the greatest moments in Heroscape history. My apologies, Sir Heroscape, but I was just dying watching that.
It was pretty good. That
That was
was, yeah, I was on the other side of the game store when that happened, or at least of our little gaming area in the game store, and I heard that. I heard it loud and clear when that happened. It was
the
so
Soul
good.
Devourer heard around the world.
Yeah.
Because
That
what
was a
is
good one.
Silver Surfer, like 300 points on his own or more, something like that?
A little bit more, yeah, 320.
Yeah.
It's literally Sir Heroscape's whole army.
Entire army. Uh,
But yeah, looks like Sir Heroscape's just trying to claw out what he can right now. Does get a kill.
yeah, that 5 melee attack is stout. And the Hound's got to come in and come to him, so
Mm-hmm.
the nice thing Chris can do is he can hide in the jungle cover as he moves up, which is just huge, rolling 6 defense dice against any range attack.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that 6 defense plus 8 move most of the time makes them really, really good at just moving where they want to on the map.
Yeah, there's nowhere where Sir Heroscape can go to kind of get away from that, I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. And yeah, he'll probably just be playing a lot of tower defense with the guerrilla troopers, really.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, guerrilla
yep.
troopers do like to play tower defense, so.
Yeah, no, that's what you have to do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And now we play, if someone sits up on a perch, but if you're down in points, the other person technically can just wait for you to come to them off of that perch. Is that
Yeah,
kind of
that's true.
generally accepted? Is that how kind of most people do it? Yeah. You
That's
kind of
like,
look.
yeah, that's one of those things where it's like I've done that a couple of times where I'm like, okay, you've got this great spot, but obviously I'm not going to suicide myself into that position. You usually don't want games to kind of come to that kind of standstill.
Right,
But
exactly.
but yeah, if it does, I always defer to points.
Yeah, okay, good. That makes sense to us. So that's how we kind of do it too. All right, looks like did Heroscape get the initiative there?
Yeah, took the initiative and he's got a good shot down at that one Hound that doesn't have
Yeah.
jungle. So yeah,
Yep.
got a
And that
good
was
kill.
great move by Sir Heroscape there.
And then gonna dance around a little bit with the other gorilla trooper. It's an interesting position where Like Chris definitely wants to get in there with the Hounds as fast as possible, but he also wants to like he's kind of running into the problem of stringing out his figures a bit.
Right, right. And do you try to get them all up in a pack, or you kind of go in because there's only two figures left, and you don't want to let
Yeah.
them ping away at you. So it's tough to be. I always find it tough to be disciplined and bring up people from the rear when I can get these attacks in, even when it is a better move.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing to find a balance here. I think right now with like the Hounds, I think the plague roll is so big
Yep.
that it's worth like moving them up even when it gets strung out. I mean, and they've got enough move. You can see right now again that he's got a nice little pack at the front. But yeah, the plague roll is so good, especially against the guerrilla troopers, that it's probably worth stringing him out a little bit if he needs to, just to get those rolls in.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I think that's one of the things as I've played the game more, is forcing myself to learn how to slow roll with melee armies and
Yeah,
kind of that Matthias mantra of how he talks on the boards of slow rolling, with classic with his knights sort of armies. It's just if you can just be patient and bring them all up and then wait for that moment when you've developed the board, and all of a sudden you'll just have 4 attacks of 4 every round, every turn, and then if you can get to the game to that point, it really is can be really super effective.
yeah, for sure. That's like feel like that's one of the big lessons that just about every new Heroscaper needs to learn is just that the value of patience.
And the value of rolling 4 shields with 5 total dice there is also
I
comes in
know.
handy. I haven't learned how to do that consistently yet.
Yeah, that is one of the guiding principles of Heroscape is being able to roll, um, you know, almost every shield on your die when you're defending and rolling every skull when you're attacking.
Takes a lot of practice, a lot of
Yeah.
practice. And so it's interesting that Sir Heroscape decided to call this match early. I mean, does that happen in the online tournaments often? Or I mean, if he was going to play it out, is there a
Uh,
thought process there, do you think?
yeah, I mean, I think
I mean,
I've
I
seen it
can
both
see
ways.
he was frustrated, and I would have been too. I mean, there were some,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Like I've had some games where I'm like, okay, obviously I've got no chance of winning this. I'm not going to play it out because I'm already in a bad enough mind state against this guy as it is.
yeah, right,
It's a
right.
little bit easier to just call it early. Or also if I like recognize that I've been outplayed, and because in other games you hit a point where you're like, okay, there's a chance for me to win this, but if I do, it's a fluke, and it's not because of how well I'm playing. It's because the dice were weird, and this guy definitely deserves the win. So in some tournament games, I've called a game early where I recognize that. I
Yep.
think for the most part, though, people do generally play it out just because I'm like, it's Heroscape, anything can happen, and you can always keep playing like you're gonna win, and sometimes it works.
Yeah, right. And kind of the counterpoint to what you brought up earlier with the way the good players will play conservative when they have a lead is when they're losing. I know Doc on the boards has said he'll assume everything's going to go right.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll make a plan, like take some disengagements or put people in risky positions, and the only way I'm going to win is if everything goes perfectly, and then just start playing like that, even if it's not like maybe the most intelligent way to play or most strategic way. You just got to be risky at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that I got so used to playing safe that when I first heard Doc say that, I'm like, oh, dude, that totally makes sense. That's definitely
Yep.
something I should do, and it's a really good practice to adopt. Sir Heroskip just tried to do that a little bit with disengaging Zeus to try to get his chain gun off on those 2 hounds.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it backfired and did not work at all. But
Worth a shot, though. Worth a
decent point.
shot. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm in a game like that, sometimes I'll feel like I've learned my lesson for this game. And I almost want to, like, when I get my butt kicked, I'll be like, I've learned what I'm going to learn from this butt kicking. Let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I kind of just, yeah, there are sometimes when you just feel like, yeah, it's over, even if I still have figures on the board and could maybe win with a 2% chance.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
And yep, that looks like that was it. Yep. There we
Yeah,
go. Lava
that's
damage,
it.
taking out the last gorilla trooper.
That's
So
a
yeah,
good
so
good way to end.
nice little ending to that game. I think, Sir Heroscape was kind of right in that he didn't really have a chance against all of those hounds with how few figures he had left. But I
Yeah.
do think it was a nice little end game. Kind of showed how the hounds developed a bit more, and I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was cool to see how Chris played the Hounds, and Sir Heroscape did everything he could to fight that off. But yeah, that was fun to see how the Hounds played, and they're good on this board. I like them on this board with the cover, and obviously if you hit that big move, they can jump out from the jungle and be right on you with the plague.
Oh yeah, they're on top of you so quickly.
Yeah, and then their high defense. I mean, they always look better on paper than it seems like they perform, but they did pretty well in this one.
Yeah, they definitely did, and they were in their element here too against figures that really hate the plague.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I wonder just, with the whole theory on squadscape, and I wonder if you just looked at just pure how many figures each of the two armies have and run the statistics on how often the army with more figures win. It just seems like there's always that element when I've got an army that fills up my start zone. I just feel like I always do better.
Yeah.
I think you maybe were the one who kind of pulled off what I thought was impossible, was winning a tournament with an all heroes army. So it can be done.
Did I?
Somebody in the Utah scene
Oh,
did.
somebody. Yeah. That'd actually be the Duke.
Was that the Duke? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, because
Yeah.
he
No, it's okay.
I chatted. Yeah, sorry. But so it can be done. I know it can be done, and there are great anti-squad heroes and even anti-squad squads. But yeah, I think Sir Heroscape was up against it in this one.
Yeah, he definitely was. That is actually something that I looked at when when it comes to like these kind of just straight up kill 'em all matches. Numbers help a ton. That's actually something that the organizers of the Utah tournaments have been looking at, because we've just been like looking at tampering with figure limits and stuff. And so I pulled some stats, and generally the armies with a higher number of figures in them do better in our tournaments.
Oh,
Granted,
interesting.
granted, we're not like all experts and stuff, and so it does kind of come down to just the numbers advantage. But I mean, the numbers advantage is real when it comes to Heroscape.
It is, because they can, yeah, for many reasons, but they can absorb those hits. You roll five
Hmm.
skulls on a squad and he blanks. Well, it's only one kill.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, but
Well,
good
that's
game here.
interesting. Yeah, yeah,
It's
oh,
yeah.
great. Yeah, fun. Now I've got to start keeping stats for our tournaments, Big A. You're putting me to shame. I want to be able to go back and crunch numbers like you're doing. That's so cool.
I don't do it a ton. It was pretty fun. I'm trying to hold off from doing it for all of our tournaments that we've ever done. But I don't. I like spreadsheets and crunching numbers and all that fun stuff. It's
Yeah,
it's that good stuff that makes me feel a little bit happier.
I'm with you.
Thanks so much for joining me for this one, Tiamat.
Yeah, totally. Great time. Really, really had fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a really fun game. I think you brought a lot of good points to the game as well. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming. Do you have anything you'd like to share with our viewers?
Oh my gosh, like parting words of wisdom.
Yeah, something like that.
I have no parting words of wisdom. Heroscape forever, people.
Hey, there you go. Heroscape forever. That's a good one. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you liked this video. Let us know how it went. Let us know if there's always let me know if there's anything I can do to improve. Hopefully you guys enjoyed having Tiamat around as much as I did. I think it was great. I'd love to have him on again. And yeah, just keep on scaping and enjoy this beautiful world. Sign on off.